Now, people living on a Malvern housing development have told us they feel ripped off and locked into hundreds of pounds of charges for work that isn't being done. Around 500 homes were built by Persimmon about 10 years ago at Malvern Vale, and the parks and open spaces are not maintained by the local council, but by a management company called Greenbelt. But homeowners say Greenbelt isn't doing the work and say unlike leasehold owners living in a block of flats, they've no way of holding the management company to account. Our political reporter James Pearson has been to speak to people living there.
Bits of old furniture, building materials, plastic.
And this is supposed to be a nice pond.
It is, yes, with a wildlife. We have an information board just there that tells you what you can see in this area, which I doubt that we'll see many of those at the moment.
Jo Riley moved to Malvern from Yorkshire nearly 10 years ago now. As chair of the local residents association, she's brought her home county's plain speaking with her.
There are about 300 to 400 houses paying this management fee. Estimates to be about £150 a year. I definitely don't think we get value for money. I was told it was looking after the green areas, the grass, the trees, the bushes, the shrubs, all of those sorts of things.
Have they been looked after?
Not to the residents' satisfaction. We're standing in our play park at the moment. The ground is covered in litter. There is a missing swing which has been missing for possibly 9 months and not been repaired.
Have people complained? What happens when people complain?
Nothing happens when people complain. In 2017 I had a response, or at least Cynthia Palmer, the mayor, had a response saying, yes, we totally agree about the work in the park. It is a mess. We will come and restore it and repair it. That was March 2017, and it is still in exactly that same state. Nothing's been done.
You know, it changes each year. They can put the price up to whatever they want, you know, whatever they seem to want, like.
Do you feel you were told enough when you moved in, when you were buying the house?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Do you feel that was because you just didn't think to look it all up?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't think to look into it at all. No, as we just presumed it was a Greenbelt was the council.
My recollection is that when we bought the property, the lawyers had to add a covenant to our deed to say that we had to pay Greenbelt a annual fee and that we were unable to change them if we felt that the service they were delivering was poor. And I think that is wrong. I don't think that the builders, in this instance Persimmon, should force that onto us.
It does seem quite a strange way of doing this, doesn't it? I've lived in apartments on and off throughout my life, and you have to pay like a community charge for them to do the communal areas there, the grounds and the hallways and stuff. But it seems a bit odd when it's an actual housing estate.
Either the council, or if one of the houses owns a particular piece of land, then they should be responsible for it, I guess. I wouldn't thought of paying something to a management company.
No, you think it'd be covered by council tax, wouldn't you? Let's talk to the Home Owners' Rights Network. They're a campaign group. Estimates around 50,000 new build homes in the country now pay for a service charge to maintain their spaces. Cathy Priestley from the network. Hi, Cathy.
Oh, good morning, James.
It's Elliott, actually, but don't worry, I'll answer to most things. It was James who's doing the report. Is this quite an unusual way of doing things? As I said, I mean, it's not that unusual with leasehold properties, is it, and apartments, but it seems a bit unusual for sort of proper houses.
Well, what we've found, and our network of ordinary homeowners has grown from 3 to 3,500 in a couple of years, and we've found from each other is that this is commonplace. The government don't keep any statistics about it. They've largely turned a blind eye to it. But we've collected our own information, and we've got 325 estates across the UK where 64,000 households are covered by this sort of arrangement.
And why is it happening? Is it the council just trying to get some more money and washing their hands of the problem and leaving it to the developer?
It's the developers and councils together when the planning application is put in for the development. The developers gain from using this model because they don't have to prepare the land to a good standard. adoption standard. They don't put it up for adoption. They don't have to pay inspection fees, and they don't have to pay the council for ultimately taking over the land.
Generally, are the management companies doing what they say they will do?
No,
or are a lot of people having the problem?
No, our members' experience is that the lack of value for money is rife. People feel that they're being exploited by the companies and feel that they're being untreated fairly because they're also paying full council tax.
Yeah, and Cathy, if they're not happy with the management company or the company servicing their facilities, can they change them? Can they get rid of them?
No. Usually the company's embedded in the legal documents, so that there's no possibility of changing the company.
That doesn't seem very fair or democratic, does it?
No, it doesn't. This is the impetus behind our movement. We're campaigning for a change in the law.
So what do you actually want then?
What we would like is the gold standard would be compulsory adoption. Don't make it an option for the developer to put the estate up for adoption, but make it compulsory. This would ensure that the estate land and facilities like the play parks were all developed to adoption standard, and then the public open spaces which are on all of these estates are owned and managed by a public authority. Homeowners tell me that they'd be more than happy to pay a bit extra on their council tax, but they don't want to pay a predatory private company.
OK. Cathy, thank you very much. Cathy Priestley there from the Homeowners Rights Network. Quite a few people have been talking about this.
Well, Robert here says these management companies can be a rip-off. Buying a new home from Persimmon should be done with a caution, they say. We once owned a property built by a big company, had to endure what I consider to be a shameless rip-off service charge imposed by their appointed management company, who did very little for the £1,500 they charged us each year, plus estate management charges on top of that. I'd never buy a property again belonging to that particular group.
Honestly, it's a slightly different thing, but it's all the similar kind of thing. The people who manage I won't name them, the people who manage my apartment, absolutely shocking. You spend a fortune and get nothing for it.
Did you manage to change them?
You can't change them. Well, you can, but it's so hard to do it. You're just stuck with them. It's an absolute nightmare. Anyone who lives in an apartment will tell you the same story, but these people aren't living in apartments, they're living in houses. I'm sure we'll come back to that at some point.